Yeah, I met my wife in Miami.
Really?
Yeah, she was living there.
Damn. Who says you can't meet your wife in Miami?
But you can find your wife in any place in the world.
You hear that? Put that on Only in Date on Instagram. You can meet your wife in Miami.
Alright, let's roll.
Put it on Only in Date is hilarious.
Every year.
Ilia Topuria just confirmed the breakup everyone's been whispering about. Is this the moment the calm technician turns into a ruthless finisher with something to prove? Or does the silence mean there's more to the story than anyone realizes? Because if Ilia is really fighting with that weight on his chest, the next walk to the cage won't be normal. It'll be personal, and whoever signs the contract might be stepping into a storm they can't survive. Want the full breakdown, what's real, what's rumor, and how this could reshape the division overnight? Hit subscribe now so you don't miss it, and let's dive right in. It started with something small that did not feel small at all. People noticed the photos were gone, first from his page, then from hers. Old pictures, sweet captions, little moments that fans had liked for years quietly wiped. No message, no statement, just empty space where a whole story used to live. That is how the internet works now. When the posts vanish, the questions rush in. Did they have a fight? Did something bigger happen? Is this a break or a breakup? Nobody close to them said anything, but the timing made it hit harder.
So this is Ilia Topuria's wife, with another dude. Yes, this is wife. Well, I guess the Note boys are right. Who the thought it would be a good idea to get with the wife of one of the best MMA fighters in the world right now? Like, how bad she is. She'll be prime Megan Fox. I still wouldn't do that shit. Honestly, I think the wife did him a favor by cheating on him.
Ilia had been shining in the cage, smiling in interviews, looking untouchable. So when the couple pictures disappeared, fans took it as a signal that something serious had changed. They shared screenshots. They wrote long threads. They argued in comments like they were in the room when it went down, but all anyone really had was the quiet, and the quiet felt loud. Sometimes silence is the biggest kind of message because it lets the mind fill in every blank. And when the person at the center is one of the scariest men in the sport, the story turns from "Are they okay?" into "What does this do to him when he steps into a fight?" That is why the missing photos matter. Not because social media is everything, but because it was the only thing anyone could see. To understand why fans cared so much, you have to remember how people saw their relationship. It looked simple and strong from the outside. He had told that easy, warm story about meeting her in Miami. It felt like a movie line you want to believe, two people crossing paths in a city full of noise and lights, and building a quiet life behind all the bright moments. As his name grew and the cameras got closer, he kept his family off to the side, not as a secret, but as something to protect. That made people root for them even more. When a fighter's private world seems steady, it helps fans make sense of the calm they see in the cage. He's locked in because he's grounded, they say. So when the couple's trail went cold online, it felt like that anchor might be slipping. The story was not just about a relationship, it was about a champion who had built himself on discipline and control. Fans wondered if losing that calm would break him or make him even more dangerous. They remembered the little smiles, the hand-in-hand moments, and they asked themselves whether the storm outside would shake the ice inside. That is why people leaned in. It wasn't only drama, it was a question about identity. The internet did what it always does. It turned into a giant detective. People compared old screenshots to new ones. They searched for tagged photos. They checked who followed who.
Did you have mercy?
Well, honestly, he couldn't have mercy because the guy that was supposed to stop the fight never did. So
Right.
if one needs to die, it's not gonna be my guy.
Oh my gosh. I like this. This is a little trash talking here. This is nice.
They tried to read meanings and captions and emojis like they were secret codes. Some said it was a pause, a cool down, a timeout. Others said it looked final. A few told everyone to relax, to wait for a real statement, to stop guessing. But even the calm voices kept checking back. That is the thing about mystery. It pulls you back again and again. Without proof, people started to build stories out of small details. A gym photo with a harder look in his eyes. A training clip with a different song. A post that talked about focus and legacy. Were those normal posts? Or were they messages? No one knows. That is how rumors grow. When there is no answer, every small thing feels like a clue. It's not fair, but it is real. And while all that guessing spun around, one fact never changed. Neither of them confirmed a breakup. The closest thing to truth was the silence.
Can anybody get under your skin? Does anybody get under your skin? Somebody that knows to say something that triggers. I see your face is saying something though.
I think the only person is my wife. She's the only person.
So the fan base sat there, watching a blank space on 2 pages, and waiting for a sentence that still has not come. Now let's talk about what heartbreak can do to a fighter. It is not the same for everyone. Some people get stuck. They overthink. they hesitate. They lose that smooth, relaxed rhythm that helps them see punches coming. For others, heartbreak can act like fuel. It gives a reason to wake up before the sun, to run longer, to hit the bag harder, to sharpen every habit. Pain can be very loud at home, but in the gym it can become simple. Lift, drill, spar, breathe. When everything hurts, the routine becomes a safe place, and the cage becomes the one spot where you can let the pain move through you and out. It is not magic. It is practice plus focus plus the need to prove something to yourself. Fans call it breakup power, like it is a super move, but really it is a stubborn kind of energy. You tell yourself, I will not break, I will build. If Ilia is that second type to builder, then the next camp would look different. More mindset work, more film, more patience in bad positions, more clean exits on defense, and a meaner choice of shots on offense.
Why are you saying that?
Huh?
Why are you
What?
saying that?
Everyone
Yeah,
says that.
because you go to the party and this is the only place
Yeah.
you see. Like you don't know the another part of Miami of people that just they want.
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. We need
Best
to
place
see
to
that
work
side.
out too, Miami, because you can just walk outside and run in the water.
When fighters walk out with a heavy heart and clear eyes, you can feel it before the first punch lands. The bounce in the feet changes, the shoulders look loose, the gaze is steady and cold. That is where heartbreak becomes a weapon, in the tiny choices, made 1,000 times. While all this swirled, the reaction machine spun up fast. Clips came out with flashy titles. Thumbnails showed big red arrows, circled screenshots, and shocked faces. People posted old interview moments and tried to connect them to this week's rumor. They grabbed podcast sound bites and layered new meaning over them. Joe Rogan's name kept popping up because his platform moves the needle in MMA. Even if he was just speaking in general about fighters, fans plugged those words right into the story. That is how the content world works. A small spark turns into a wall of videos, and then the videos become evidence even when they are just opinions. This does not mean everyone is lying. It means the internet puts speed first, certainty later. So you end up with 10 versions of the same idea, and they all feel true because they are loud. The right way to look at it is simple. Note the chatter, note the tone, but do not treat reaction as proof. If Ilia really wanted to confirm or deny, he could do it in one sentence. Until that happens, all those dramatic edits are just waves hitting the shore. They make noise, they move the sand, but they are not the tide. What does a charged up Ilia mean inside the cage? Start with the pieces he already has. Clean footwork that keeps him safe while he pressures. Sharp hands that find the chin without big wild swings. Smart level changes that make opponents freeze for a half second, which is all he needs. A body shot that takes air out of your lungs and your plan. And the kind of calm you only see in people who can make quick choices under fire. If you add extra focus to that kit, the details get even tighter. The jab becomes a ruler that measures distance. The feints start to draw real reactions. The defense looks like it's happening before the attack even starts. You can also expect a little more bite on the counters, the kind that turn an opponent's best idea into their worst moment. And if the takedown chain is ready, a heavy move can make him even more stubborn on top. Slow hips, hard shoulders, elbows that make you rethink everything. It's not about throwing wild because you're angry. It's about choosing mean, high percentage moments and repeating them until the other man breaks. That is the scary version. It's a storm that looks like a clear day, at least until the lights go out. So who should be worried? Anyone signing a contract in his weight neighborhood should be. The patient strikers who like to download data for 2 rounds, bad match. He does not give you clean reads. The brawlers who hope to drag him into chaos, he will take one step back, set his feet, and make your chaos cost you. The wrestlers who want to grind him down, if his base is locked in and his balance is sharp, they may burn energy just to hold him for a few seconds at a time. The counter snipers who wait for mistakes, he does not show many, and when he does, he hides them with quick fixes. That is not to say he cannot lose. Every fighter can. Styles still make fights, and one perfect shot can erase a whole plan. But a focused Ilia is a bad puzzle. The pieces look simple until you try to put them together at high speed with someone punching you in the mouth. Add the emotional edge, the need to prove, to rebuild, to send a message, and the first 3 minutes of every round become the danger zone. If you do not take his rhythm away early, you may not get another chance. Now, let's keep our feet on the ground. What do we actually know? We know that people saw a change on social media. We know that fans turned that into a story. We know there is no clear, on-the-record statement from either person. That is the whole set of solid facts. Everything else is talk. That does not make the talk useless. It shows where the audience is looking. It shows what the crowd wants to understand. But it also means we should be careful. Real life is not a highlight reel. Relationships are not scorecards. 2 people can take space and then come back stronger. 2 people can quietly end things with respect and never say a word about it online. So while we study training clips and search for secret messages in song lyrics, it is good to admit we do not know. What we can discuss without guessing is what happens when a focused, talented athlete deals with pain by doing the work. That part is public. Early mornings, long drills, team meetings, film sessions, clean food, hard sleep, the rest belongs to them. Inside a camp shaped by heavy feelings, the day-to-day gets very simple. You build a rhythm that does not leave room for overthinking. Wake up, hydrate, move, stretch, breathe. Warm up the small muscles that keep you safe. Neck, ankles, hips, shoulders. Pad work with intent, not speed. Mix in those short, lean combinations that end with a body shot or a low kick that turns the thigh into a bruise. Tech spar, then live goes where it needs to go, hard enough to test, smart enough to last. Wrestling days become about building a wall. Underhooks, head position, fight the hands, win the corners, make the cage your friend. Grappling days become about glue. Stick to the hips, pass with pressure, keep your chest low, make your opponent carry you. Conditioning is short and sharp. Sprints, bike intervals, bag intervals, where the last 30 seconds of each round are all bite. And over all of that, the mind work. Breathing drills to lower the heart rate fast, trigger words that pull him back to his plan, and a simple rule score first in every exchange. Pain does not get to drive. It just sits in the back while the plan takes the wheel. In the minutes before a fight shaped by this kind of camp, you could feel a different kind of quiet. The music in the locker room sounds softer. The coach's voice is clearer. The warm-up looks a little more exact. There is no yelling to hype anyone up, because the reason to fight is already burning. Tape wraps feel like armor, not tape. The first glove touch on the pads cracks sharp and clean, and eyes lock on the pad holder like the rest of the room has disappeared. The walk is steady, like a march. The lights do not scare him, they serve him. Inside the cage, the first touch tells a story. If he lands the jab and sees doubt right away, the plan opens like a map. If the other man charges, the pivot is ready. If the clinch comes, the head position battle is on, and the knees draw a line across the body like a marker. Between rounds, the stool talk is short. One cue for defense, one cue for offense, one goal keep him guessing. There is nothing wild to prove, there is only control to keep. That is how heavy feelings can make simple choices. That is how storms turn into clear plans. In the end, this story is bigger than missing photos. It's about what pressure does to a person who already lives in pressure every day. Ilia built his name on control, tight defense, clean shots, quiet eyes that never blink. Now the world is asking if pain will shake that control or sharpen it. We don't have a statement. We don't have a neat answer. What we do have is a fighter who knows how to turn hard moments into hard work. That is the part we can trust. When the cage door shuts, there are no rumors, no guesses, no noise, only choices. Step in, draw a reaction, make him pay. If Ilia comes in with that steady fire, the first minute will tell you everything. If he's calmer, that's a message. If he's meaner, that's a message too. Either way, the truth will show where it always does, in the fight. So watch the walk, watch the jab, watch the small fixes between exchanges. That's where the real story lives. And when it ends, we'll know more about the man than any timeline could tell us.